Coming up on this edition of the Poke Report, we hit the road and are in Lawrence, Kansas to preview the football game tomorrow.
Men's and women's hoops are about to tip off their seasons in Gallagher-Iba Arena.
And finally, we check in on a struggling Oklahoma State soccer team in search of their first conference win. All of this and more on this edition of the Poke Report. Welcome to this week's edition of the Poke Report. I'm Zach Berger.
And I'm Peyton Schmidt. And Zach, we are not in Stillwater, that's for sure. We are actually in Kansas's journalism building, and we are so thankful for them to lend them their studio.
Yeah, huge shout out to them. It's super cool campus so far. Love this studio, love this building. I will say one thing I didn't expect to be on a hill. I was walking up,
Yes.
We parked, and I was like, oh, I got to climb this thing.
It was a mountain, and I was so out of breath when I got here. I had to stand outside the building because I was like, I can't meet new people being this out of breath. It was terrifying.
No, but absolutely beautiful. Thank y'all again for letting us use this. A little bit later, we're going to be talking, obviously, about OSU KU football. Going to have some students on, but for now, let's start with some OSU sports from this past week.
Of course, and we would be wrong if we didn't start with women's basketball, who's coming off of a historic season with head coach J.C. Hoyt, and they're also coming off of a great exhibition matchup. Emma Woods has that story and what's to come with Cowgirl basketball.
GIA season is officially here, with women's basketball having their first exhibition game earlier this week. The Cowgirls took on Oklahoma Christian here in Stillwater to kick off their season. The Pokes had a ball defeating the Lady Eagles 104-51. During the game, both returning players and some new faces showcased their talent, leaving fans excited for the rest of the season. The win extends the Cowgirls' winning streak in exhibition matchups up to 29. The Cowgirls found the three-point line often with a fast-paced play where their defense was on fire, forcing many turnovers.
After a dominant win tonight at GIA, Cowgirl basketball is looking strong for the rest of the season.
Now there's a lot of noise surrounding this team as they are ranked 22nd in the AP poll. With these high rankings, the Cowgirls are looking to expand their success from last season when they went 25-7 overall and 14-4 in conference play.
This team is very, very hungry. As great as last season was, I think sometimes it's one thing to want to get back on the winning track and be hungry to get back to the tournament, but it's a whole nother thing to want to be so hungry that you want to win in the tournament. And that's the level of motivation that we have right now, is just an elite hunger to not just get there, but to play a lot longer than what we did.
Some standout players for the Pokes are junior Staley Hurd, who was awarded with some Big 12 honors, along with sophomore Jaden Wooten. She changed the pace of the game against the Lady Eagles earlier this week. The Cowgirls are hoping fans come and fill the GIA in support, as seen last year. They know how to beat tough opponents.
We want to play for our fans. They just do a great job of heckling the refs, heckling the other team, and just being on our side. It's so amazing.
Head coach J.C. Hoyt has even said that she wants the shirtless guys from Section 2, no shirty 1, to get in the GIA to support the Cowgirls and sit behind the opponent's basket. With OSU football not doing too hot this season, and last, fans are looking for a team they can rely on to get some wins. And for the Cowgirls, they have confidence they can do that this season. Non-conference play is starting next week, playing teams like Oral Roberts, St. John's, Miami, and Oklahoma. Then they will start conference play December 21st in Ohio against Cincinnati, and will be on the court until the end of February before they go into postseason play. For the Poke Report, I'm Emma Woods.
For that, Emma, Cowgirl basketball season officially starts this Monday against New Orleans.
Now, Cowboy basketball is coming into an exciting year, too, in the Coach Lutz era, and especially it's exciting because of their off-season moves in the transfer portal. Our own Kobe Ashley breaks down what the excitement's all about and the new pieces on this year's team.
The Oklahoma State men's basketball team is coming off a 17-18 season a year ago that saw them reach the quarterfinals of the NIT tournament. However, Much of that lineup from 2024 has departed, but head coach Steve Lutz has reloaded the roster in a big way as the Cowboys prepare for the start of a new campaign. The newcomers immediately made their presence known in the first exhibition game against Auburn, in which the Pokes won 97-95 in overtime.
You know, for an exhibition game, that's probably as intense and as good an exhibition game as I've been a part of in a long, long time. It's exactly what we wanted. It's exactly what we needed.
Seton Hall transfer Isaiah Coleman connected on 9 shot attempts for 28 points. With the Pirates last year, Coleman averaged over 15 points per game in the Big East, and Lutz looks to replicate that success in the Big 12. Not to be outdone, Green Bay transfer Anthony Roy also totaled 28 points while knocking down 5 three-pointers.
Despite battling an ankle injury just last season, Roy managed to average 26 points for the Phoenix. The decision for Roy to join OSU in the transfer portal stems from feeling at home at OSU and being wanted by the coaching staff.
When the portal opened, the coaching staff just seemed like they were really interested in me, and I just felt like I was wanted. And at the end of the day, what people tend to forget in this whole recruiting process is to go where you're wanted.
Although the Cowboys suffered a loss against SMU in their second exhibition match, they are primed to make a run to the NCAA tournament this time around. The regular season tips off on November 4th at 7 p.m. as the Cowboys host Oral Roberts, which will be the first of 6 straight home games for OSU.
Thanks for that, Kobe. Man, Peyton, excited to see what both men's and women's teams are going to do this year.
That's right. And before we can get into some more basketball stories, we cannot forget that we are knee-deep in football season right now, and our Big 12 expert, Connor Fuchsa, has a Big 12 analysis for us.
Thanks for that, Peyton. And welcome into the Big 12 Roundup. I'm Connor Fuchsa, here to tell you everything you need to know about Big 12 football. So let's get into it. This past week, there were 7 different Big 12 games in action, 14 different teams. So let's start from the top. From the top, we've got Texas Tech versus Oklahoma State. Texas Tech was out for vengeance after losing their first game of the season the week before against Arizona State. They dropped 42. They hold the Pokes to 0. This was Texas Tech's first conference shutout since 2005. They are looking dominant. Going over the next game, another dominant team, Utah. No Devin Dampier, no problem. Their freshman quarterback comes in, gets the job done, and they handle business. One game I want to touch before we get to the game of the week is that Kansas State versus Kansas game. It was the Sunflower Showdown, a rivalry game, except hasn't been much of a rivalry in the 2000s, as 17 straight for Kansas State in this one. Avery Johnson has looked amazing. The defense looks great. Kansas couldn't hold on to the ball, turning the ball over a ton. Kansas State gets that win. So let's head over to the game of the week, BYU versus Iowa State. Now, in this one, we had BYU, the number 11 ranked Cougars, dominating this game. 41 points. The offense has looked amazing. The story of the season so far has been Bear Bachmeier and LJ Martin duo run game. However, LJ Martin went down with an injury in the first quarter of this one. But Bear Bachmeier, Parker Kingston found a way to get this one done for the Cougars. Kingston, 7 catches, 133 yards, and 2 touchdowns in this one. This is his 3rd game this season with over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. He's been absolutely balling out for the Cougars. Over for Iowa State's side, Rocco Becht has a kind of stinker of a game. He gets 311 yards passing, but 3 interceptions leads to the loss for Iowa State. That's 3 straight losses for the Cyclones. Carson Hansen had himself a day, 16 carries, 152 yards, and 2 touchdowns, but it was not enough for the Cyclones. Now let's head to one more game. I want to hit Houston versus Arizona State. Now, Arizona State, coming off that big win against Texas Tech, had a lot of momentum going, except they were without Jordan Tyson, their number 1 wide receiver. So they knew it was going to be an uphill battle. Then, halfway through the game, you lose your starting quarterback, Sam Levitt. The injuries have just been plaguing the Sun Devils all season long. As for Houston, Connor Wayman had himself a day, 300 total yards, 100 of those came on the ground, 3 total touchdowns. Houston has been looking dominant. Usually about this time of the year, the calendar, it's about to turn to November. Houston Cougars fans are ready for basketball season. This year, I think they're fine with just watching their football team, who's 7-1 and having an amazing season. So let's head back to that scoreboard one more time. The last game I want to touch on is that Baylor versus Cincinnati game. I mean, Brandon Sorsby and the Cincinnati Bearcats have been absolutely cooking this season. They get another win against a team that at the beginning of the year looked like Big 12 championship hopeful. Baylor's kind of started to crumble as the weeks go on. Now Cincinnati is preparing for college game day as they head to Utah for a big matchup next week to look out for. But for now, that's all we got for the Big 12 Roundup. I'll send it back over to you, Zach and Peyton, at the desk.
Thanks for that, Connor. Now, when we come back, Cowgirls soccer is still looking for their first win in the Big 12 play.
And OSU softball's pitching staff is gearing up for another big season. All that and more right after this.
I want to show you something. This is the money we could save by switching from fresh packed California crushed tomatoes to concentrated tomato paste.
I want to show you something too. I got a new door. Go take a look at it.
Nobody uses better ingredients than Little Caesars. Like fresh packed California crushed tomatoes. Pick up a large, deep dish for just $8.
Pizza.
Introducing Lincoln Black Label at Diffie Ford Lincoln. Designed to impress those with impeccable taste, Lincoln Black Label features a collection of interior themes and a host of exclusive membership privileges, inspired by attention to detail and a love of automobiles. With Lincoln Black Label, you'll enjoy an extended premium maintenance plan that covers wear items or even remote vehicle delivery. Lincoln Black Label isn't about luxury ownership, it's about membership. Lincoln Black Label, exclusively at Diffie.
Welcome back into the Poke Report. Zach Berger alongside Peyton Schmidt. Now, Cowgirls soccer is continuing their struggling ways as they did against West Virginia in Morgantown this past week. Our very own Angelina Craig has the breakdown of that matchup and what went wrong.
Cowgirl soccer is still searching for their first conference win of the season, and it wasn't any easier for them in Morgantown. The 0-9-1 Cowgirls took on the 7-0-3 West Virginia Mountaineers this past Sunday, and it was all Mountaineers early, logging just 5 minutes to find the back of the net for Ava Arnold off of a corner kick, but the momentum didn't stop there. The Mountaineers held the Cowgirls into their own half for the duration of the first half, keeping Cowgirl goalkeeper Logan Marks on her toes. Marks recorded 4 first-half saves and now leads the Big 12 in saves, which poses the question on why the Cowgirls can't reach the back of the net. Head coach Colin Carmichael has more.
Well, it's hard. The two kids who we projected to be starters are not playing out for the season, so that means their backups are eating up those minutes. We just don't have a whole lot of goal threat.
Despite those offensive challenges that are preventing the Cowgirls from pulling away with a conference game, the team morale is still high, something goalkeeper Logan Marks is proud to stand behind.
The girls are sticking strong just like they did last year. They're defending their asses off, and that's all I could really ask for. So.
Team morale kept the energy up for the Cowgirls. It wasn't just enough to fight off the Mountaineers, who striked again in the second half after Abby Alexa found the back of the net in the 55th minute. And the domination doesn't stop there. The Mountaineers outshot the Cowgirls 27-1. The Cowgirls head back home for their season closer against the Bears, again, still searching for a conference win. As for the future of these two teams, the Cowgirls have no possibility of making the Big 12 tournament. And for the Mountaineers, it's about finishing out the season and preparing for the post. For the Poke Report, I'm Angelina Craig.
Thanks for that, Angelina. Hopefully the Cowgirls can find at least one conference win against Baylor in this upcoming week.
Now switching gears, Cowgirl Golf has a new head coach, and Peter Luisi has that story.
The Oklahoma State Cowgirl golf team has a familiar sheriff back on the saddle. Head coach Annie Young rejoins the Cowgirls after success across the Turnpike in Tulsa and at Colorado State. Young was the Oklahoma State head coach from 2008 to 2011 and could not be more excited to return to Stillwater.
I think I was a little uptight the first time I took this job and felt the pressure. I'm looking at it differently. We're going to have a lot of fun with what we're doing. We're going to recruit really, really well, do the best we can. And we're going to be a team that's tough and works hard. But again, we're going to have fun while we do it.
Young hasn't only proved she can win as a coach, but she has a notable resume as a player. Young graduated from OSU in 2005. During her time here, she was awarded 3 All-Big 12s, Big 12 Player of the Year in 2005, and back-to-back Big 12 individual championships in 04 and 05 highlight her accomplishments. Young and the Cowgirls had a strong fall, tallying a win in Norman, a third-place finish at the Carmel Cup, and a top-5 finish at the Prairie Dunes Invitational. Young is starting to feel right back at home in Stillwater.
Just how things are run at Karsten Creek, I think is very familiar. But in regard to what's changed, I think I've grown up a lot. I was 26 then, so I didn't really know what I didn't know. But I think my coaching philosophy has changed in that, I'm more, you got to coach the players differently in that not everybody needs to be coached the same. Some you can give tough love, some they just need a hug.
With Young's winning experience, she gets down to the details on how there's a mindset for hardware.
But experience goes a long way. Being there and kind of sharing my experiences of I do it more through stories than anything, but just not to brag or anything, but to say look, you can get through difficult things, if you approach it the right way.
Who better than one of the icons of women's golf to lead the new age of the Oklahoma State Cowgirls? For the Poke Report, I'm Peter Luisi.
Thanks for that, Peter. Now the season looks like it's gearing up to be an interesting one.
Now, fall ball season just wrapped up for Cowgirls softball. Our very own Miles Towery has a preview of what's going to be happening inside the circle for the Cowgirls this season.
The Cowgirls season is coming up fast, and fans are more focused on the mound this year. Coming off a postseason loss last season, OSU's pitching looks new, confident, and ready to take the reins of the Big 12. Leading the way on the mound is the Cowgirls' ace, Ruby Malin. After transferring from Washington and posting one of the top ERAs in the conference, Malin brings poise and power to every start. This will be her second year with OSU. Behind her is a deep mix of experience and young talent that's ready to step up.
It's 4 awesome girls, and we have so much fun together, and we love competing against one another in our bullpens. It's been super awesome. I love having Riley and I, who are older, but then also Presley and Madison, who are younger and are just starting their careers, and it's been super cool to see them grow and get better.
While Malin is the tone setter, the person behind the development is none other than Coach Carrie Eberly.
Yeah, I think this year is a bit unique because we have 2 seniors and 2 freshmen. So it's like not a lot of in-between experience. So it's been cool to kind of have them mesh together, and the old ones give their expertise to the young ones, and the young ones give a little bit of their free spirit to the old ones again. And so it's been a nice mix.
Malin and Eberly have been steady guiding this pitching team, but the pitching depth could be the difference in a stacked Big 12. Fans need to keep an eye on pitcher Riley Crandall, who is a senior transfer from Baylor, who is bringing senior experience and proven success. They also need to keep an eye on sophomore Katie Cutts, who already has wins and big outings under her belt just as a sophomore. Oklahoma State pitchers are ready to fire again. From their ace to the future of the program. Reporting for the Poke Report, I'm Miles Towery.
Thanks for that, Miles. Softball season might not be here just yet, but the Cowgirl pitching staff sure looks ready to lead this team to the postseason.
And man, Zach, am I ready to be back in Cowgirl Stadium. But before we can get to that point of softball season, we are still in football season. And coming up after the break, we've got that game recap against Texas Tech.
And this desk gets a little bigger because we'll be bringing on some KU students to break down OSU versus the Jayhawks. All that and more right after this.
I want to show you something. This is the money we could save by switching from fresh packed California crushed tomatoes to concentrated tomato paste.
I want to show you something too. I got a new door. Go take a look at it.
Nobody uses better ingredients than Little Caesars. Like fresh packed California crushed tomatoes. Pick up a large, deep dish for just $8. Pizza.
Introducing Lincoln Black Label at Diffie Ford Lincoln. Designed to impress those with impeccable taste, Lincoln Black Label features a collection of interior themes and a host of exclusive membership privileges, inspired by attention to detail and a love of automobiles. With Lincoln Black Label, you'll enjoy an extended premium maintenance plan that covers wear items or even remote vehicle delivery. Lincoln Black Label isn't about luxury ownership, it's about membership. Lincoln Black Label, exclusively at Diffie.
Welcome back into the Poke Report. Cowboy football continues their struggling ways as they went down to Lubbock, Texas to take on the 14th ranked Red Raiders. Our own Jared Rosenblatt has the recap against Texas Tech and how it was over from the start.
Oklahoma State and Texas Tech are alike in many ways. Similar mascots, similar traditions. But the talent level on the field could not be a bigger disparity. Batman and Superman taking in some of the action, and woo boy did Oklahoma State need some kryptonite last weekend. The Red Raiders boat raced OSU from start to finish, scoring on their opening kickoff and never looking back. It was already a 13-point lead 2 minutes into the game, and it only continued to get worse as OSU would lose 42-0. Oklahoma State's offense looked rough as they only had one truly positive drive going before this strip fumble was returned for a touchdown. It's the third time in the last 4 seasons OSU has put up a donut hole. Despite the loss by 42, the Pokes DC thought his defense played well.
The QB run game last week, them running the ball was a huge emphasis, and having any chance at all, I knew we had to stop it. So I'm excited that our front seven was able to go out there, compete, and get it done, and hold a really good team to 88 yards rushing.
Although that was the Pokes' 7th loss now, making them ineligible for a bowl game for the 2nd year in a row, which is the first time since the 20th century that's happened. The interim head coach believes a change in momentum is happening.
Let's go get after Kansas. I feel like we're close. That may sound bizarre, but I just feel it inside of me that we're close, and I think we're going to turn a corner, and hopefully this week will be the one.
The Cowboys faithful hope he's right as the Pokes look for their 2nd win of the season in Lawrence on Saturday. You can catch that game on ESPN+. For the Poke Report, I'm Jared Rosenblatt.
Thanks for that, Jared. Hopefully the Pokes can have any sort of bounce back this week against Kansas.
Now our table has gotten bigger. We are joined by some KU students. We've got Landon, we've got Kace, we've got Jacob, and I'm really proud I got their names right. I was struggling rehearsing that. But what are your thoughts on the matchup this weekend?
Personally, I think KU has to really rely on the option offense. I mean, JD6 has been doing great, and when that does work out, you've seen a lot of points scored, so that's
what stands out to me in this game is going to be the defense. As a fan of Kansas and as a student that goes to Kansas, we're going to have to get some stops and some pressures, and that's really what we've seen with our team so far. They haven't been able to get that consistent quarterback pressure in the Big 12, and that's going to be a big hand in this game.
Yeah, historically this game has been close, very close. I know in 2022 we won this game and got to our first bowl game in what seemed like forever amount of years, and then a couple years ago we dropped to Oklahoma State. But what really stands out to me is that the spread here is 25.5 points, or 24.5 points. Yeah. Major. And what I like about KU is that JD's playing really good this year, except last week he had 4 turnovers. I expect a big bounce back game from him.
Now, I am curious because obviously you guys, up and down season, I'd say, right? Has a winning record, still trying to get bowl eligible. Obviously, OSU, the scary 1-win team, But I will say with that, when you have that, freshmen are playing, new guys, it's throwing everything at the wall, right?
Right.
So as kind of these KU experts, what is one thing that maybe you're needing Kansas to do to not let it get out of hand? Because, I mean, let's be real. Like you said, the spread, 23.5 or whatever, that should be an easy win. But what's something that the Jayhawks are going to have to do to lock it down, to not let this, survival instinct Pokes do to get in this game?
Absolutely. I think we're going to have to throw the ball well. Yeah. The throwing offense and the passing offense, with JD6, him being a down the field threat, he can run, but ultimately it starts off with him getting the ball down the field. We can get our running offense going with Highshaw. If he's able to complete those middle of the field passes against that OSU defense, that's going to start us strong and good.
Yeah. And I've been looking on the other side of the ball. I really think we need to do great in the run defense. I mean, Rodney Fields, your guys' freshman running back, great talent. And I think, KU's had some questionable times where the run defense hasn't really worked out, and then that opens up the pass, obviously. I really think that if we can, do well in the run, and just kind of stop that, force them to throw the ball. I know Sam Jackson's, he's had some difficulties depending on who starts a quarterback this week. He's had some difficulties, obviously. So I think if we stop the run, I think hopefully force you guys to throw the ball, question it.
I'm going to butt in here real quick. What do you think KU has to do to stop a running back like Rodney Fields?
I mean, I think it just depends on the front that you run. You put some bigger guys in there, and eventually if they lose confidence with that, then eventually they're going to have to start throwing the ball. If KU puts up points, you can't just be running the ball every play. If you were down, 17, 21 points at some point, you're going to have to throw the ball.
True.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of bounce back on Landon. The run defense has to be really good. Against Texas Tech, we gave up 370 rushing yards. Now, I know Oklahoma's offense ranks in the hundreds, so, sort of a matchup. I think we look pretty good. But what I think the game's going to come down to is Jalen Daniels. He had 4 turnovers against K-State, and he leads the country in quarterback fumbles. So, we could play good defense, but Jalen Daniels is going to have to, pick it up.
Now, obviously, originally you talked about the spread, so that is going to bring us to our favorite segment. We do it every show, every week. It is the Pick'em segment. Peyton likes to rub in my face that she's still beating me only by one game.
It was a lot larger. It was like a 4-game win.
It was.
At one point, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, but I battled back. So we're going to bring you guys into it. We're obviously going to talk about our game, but a couple more games in the country. So let's start with SEC. You got the biggest matchups. We got Vanderbilt, a now top 10 ranked Vanderbilt, going in to Arlington to take, not Arlington.
Austin. What are you doing, Zach?
I was thinking UT Arlington. Anyways, taking on to the Longhorns of Texas. What do you guys got for that first game?
Well, I think what comes down to, I think Texas's defense has been terrible. The inconsistency, like you're playing last week against a team like Mississippi State, letting up 38 points. You cannot have that during this game. We know Texas's defense in the past has been very, very good, but you have to get those pressures. I mean, Arch Manning is a 5-star recruit. He was the top of the class, but he cannot be scoring 52 points in an SEC conference that is loaded with a ton of different talent and players. He has to have some sort of defense that he can put his back on.
And to mention on that, both of Texas's last wins were in overtime. And I mean, Vanderbilt is red hot right now. You have to go with Diego Pavia, excuse me. I mean, he's a great dual threat quarterback. You can't not go with Vanderbilt here.
Yeah, I'm going to differ a little bit from you guys' picks. I'm taking Texas to win and cover the
absolutely love it
points. Now I know one thing that we have to talk about is Arch Manning's concussion. He's going to be out for this game, and Matthew Caldwell is the backup. He did lead the Texas Longhorns against the win against Mississippi State in overtime. Texas still, they've given up a lot on defense, but I still think they have a lot of elite players. And Diego Pavia last week against Missouri sort of came down to earth a little bit, so I'm trusting Texas's talent, and I'm taking them to win.
I'm going to go back to the Vanderbilt side a little bit. You've got Michael Taft for Texas's defense. He's questionable with that thumb surgery that he just had. I'm going Vandy, and then you have Arch Manning, who's also questionable. He practiced minimally this past week, probably out for the game. I don't know. I just think that it's a little bit too much for the backup quarterback in Vandy.
Yeah, you guys don't know, but for the people watching the show, if they've been watching, they know I am the #1 Arch Manning hater in the sense of I thought he was going to be a bust from day one. Anyways, and Texas has proven it to me. Like you guys mentioned, the overtime wins, they're barely skating by against these teams. Mississippi State hasn't won a conference game in like 2 years. So Pavia is red hot. I know they had the slower game against Missouri, but you look at a guy like Diego Pavia, he's going to try and find any sort of chip on his shoulder, and a Texas team in Austin is going to be just that. So I'll go Vanderbilt too.
Now, I want to backfire a question on you guys. Do we think that this is the game for Diego Pavia to make his Heisman winning campaign and start leading the pack? After we know Mateer, he's struggled a little bit going in off of that hand injury. Do we think that will finally elevate Pavia into being a Heisman?
I'm going to say no.
Really?
For the sole fact, if you look at the players that Texas is missing, it's a hard environment to play in DKR, but I don't know. I just think if you have Texas on full display, they're full force, they're playing at their highest level, I don't think that Vandy would beat Texas if they were sitting at that position. Now, given that they do have some lack of skill set, I just think it's not quite necessarily the wow moment for the win.
Listen, I don't think Vanderbilt gets, still, even as a top 10 team, the respect of it. I think it could really wake up some people to seeing that Pavia is the real deal. I think it will get him in the conversation. Leading, I don't know yet. But you did mention John Mateer, obviously. So OU's going into Knoxville, good old Rocky Top, take on Tennessee. That's our next matchup. OU, Tennessee. What do y'all guys got on this one?
Well, I think overall this game is just an absolute quarterback shootout. John Mateer, as we mentioned, has been playing incredible. A little bit rough coming off that hand injury, but just played South Carolina, looked great in that game. And Joey Aguilar, after having that NIL trade, has looked fantastic for Tennessee playing in this game. So I think I'm going to ride a little bit here with OU. I think their position and their defense has been incredible under Venables, but I think that's really going to be the turn point for the game.
I really like Oklahoma this year. I know earlier this semester on our Playmaker show, I said John Mateer was going to win the Heisman. I really like OU's defense. But last week against Ole Miss, we sort of saw some cracks in the defense as well. And then, like you said, with John Mateer and that surgery, he's kind of come down to earth a little bit. I think, again, this is going to be an offensive shootout. But Tennessee at home, I really like Rocky Top.
You know, and just to kind of, I'm going to disagree here. You know, I really, really like Joey Aguilar. I don't think anyone can stop him, and I don't think OU can, despite having one of the nation's best defenses. You know, you look at an offense like Tennessee, obviously you guys said offensive shootout, but I think it really comes down to, can OU stop Tennessee's offense? And personally, I don't think so.
In a tough environment as well.
That as well.
Listen, I don't mean to keep sounding like a hater here, but as an OSU student, I can't be an OU fan. I can't root for them at all. Even if I want to win, I'm still not going to pick them because, listen, you talked about the offensive shootouts. I think this one's going to be just like that. But we saw Mateer miss some really big throws in that Ole Miss game that probably could have had them win the game. With even more pressure in Rocky Top, I'll go Tennessee as well.
I second that as well. I got Rocky Top going all the way in that one. Shootout, probably, but we'll see. And moving over to the Big 12, we've got Cincy and Utah. What do y'all got?
I'll start off with one name and one name only, and that is Brendan Sorsby. I think he has been absolutely incredible for this Cincinnati offense. It's almost like at some points I feel like he is the only offense. But what I really like is the way their offensive coordinator runs plays. There's a lot of slants down the field. They're not really a 3-and-D team, go all out. 4 lines vertical, but I mean those quick completions is what gets Sorsby going, and then that really lines them up for a deep ball pass going into the towards the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean Sorsby looks great. I mean you saw him versus KU, he tore it up against us unfortunately.
Yeah,
but I mean I really like Sorsby a lot, and I mean 2 high-powered offenses. I honestly think it could be a shootout. Despite playing in Utah, I still think Cincinnati takes the win here.
Yeah, the spread here is 10 Utah, and I still think we don't give enough credit to Utah. They're a top 15 offensively and defensively. But I'm taking Cincinnati.
Yeah,
Brendan
you are.
Sorsby, I think he has nearly 2,000 passing yards this season, 19 touchdowns, and 1 interception. He is one of the most underrated quarterbacks in this year's class.
I don't even think he's in the Heisman conversation.
I know.
Which is
He should be. He's incredible.
I know. I feel like I should take Utah, but my gut's telling me Cincinnati. I'm taking Cincinnati.
What you got?
Yeah. After what Cincinnati did to OSU in our homecoming game, I've got Cincinnati on this one.
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to go Utah. Listen, they've had games where for a second I thought Oklahoma State had a chance to beat Cincinnati, and that's really bad. I know it went away, but that's bad, right?
You got to beat Tulsa first.
You know what I mean? So there's been too many games where I think Cincinnati, they still come out with wins, but they're letting these teams in. And listen, I like to listen to Vegas. It feels like sometimes they know things we don't. And that 9.5-point spread you mentioned, Jacob, they know something I don't. So at home for Utah, wanting to bounce back, especially after that Holy War loss a couple weeks ago. I love Cincinnati. I think they're rolling, but I think at home Utah's going to get it done and finally put Cincinnati a little bit on the back burner. So I'll go with Utah.
All right, now next up we have Arizona State, Iowa State. What y'all got?
I mean, the big story here is Sam Leavitt's out. I mean, it's a tough environment. You're playing in Ames. I really don't think that Arizona State can get it done. I think without your starting quarterback, who's, he's been getting it done. Without him, I don't think they can, personally.
I agree. I mean, Sam Leavitt just being out is so detrimental to that team. He has a lot of experience in the CFB, obviously, with that team with Scattaboo, but Rocco Becht is on the other side of that Iowa State team, and he has looked sharp. I remember going in off of that week 1 game against K-State in Ireland, and obviously we're K-State non-supporters, but I mean, Rocco Becht has looked incredible. I mean, he has an arm, he has a cannon, he can get that ball down the field, and like Kansas, if they can get that passing offense going, that running game looks terrific.
Iowa State has lost their last 3 games. And I really wanted to take Arizona State, but Sam Leavitt's injury, I don't know. Jeff Sims is their backup, and the only game that he started, which was at Utah, they got blown out, and he didn't look too well. So I'm taking Iowa State in the bounce-back game.
Do I think it's a different story with Sam Levitt in? Yes.
Yes.
I would honestly take Arizona State.
Really?
That being said, I really think so. Honestly, I like Rocco Beck. Sometimes he crumbles under pressure, and those times, it gets you saw in the BYU game. I mean, obviously mistakes from other players on the team. But you saw he made a couple mistakes, and then that score differential just got away from him. He had nothing.
I think with this being really an elimination game, I think Iowa State will come through at the end of the day to keep their playoffs hopes alive.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I think that Sam Levitt is the heartbeat of Arizona State's offense, and without him, I just think they're just kind of average, below average, maybe. But I like Rocco Beck in Iowa State.
This would have been so much more fun of a debate if Levitt's playing. But yeah, I think it could almost surprise people how Arizona State stays in this game. But yeah, you need that clutch factor to get it done. And Iowa State with that kind of chip on their shoulder, like you said, 3 losses in a row, kind of get back going at home. So they'll be good with that. But let's wrap it up with our game, Oklahoma State here at Kansas. You know, our team, your team. It feels like it's going to be a pretty quick one with this, but let's hit it off. What do you got?
I mean, I'm not going to shy away from it. I think KU is going to, not to say blow it out of the water, but, if KU does what they need to do, they execute properly. Obviously, you saw I mentioned the option offense. If that works, it opens up the pass for guys like Emmanuel Henderson, Cam Pickett. If that works out, I think KU's, I think they got them by a couple scores, honestly.
All right, everyone say it with me. Rock, Chalk, Jayhawks, KU. We are riding with the Jayhawks, ladies and gentlemen. I think JD6 is going to have a spectacular performance, rushing and throwing the ball. I mean, JD can't have 2 bad games, surely, right? Coming off. But that's going to come down to the defense ultimately. We know Oklahoma State has let off a lot of points against teams that they shouldn't have. But KU has as well. I mean, this game, what was it, 24.5? I mean, I don't know if KU will quite beat them by 24, but it's going to be up there for
that's
sure.
That's the spread, right? What's it, around 24?
Yeah.
24.5.
That's incredible.
Man, 24.5. I feel like Oklahoma State's going to cover. But I'll try not to rip them too hard. You guys, Oklahoma State's only win is against UT Martin, that FCS program, in week 1. And they've gotten blown out in every other game, and then lost against Tulsa, firing Mike Gundy. I'm not really sure who's going to play quarterback for you guys Saturday. So even though I feel like I should take Oklahoma State to cover, I'm taking Kansas to win and cover. Yeah.
See, I'm still trying to recover from that song you just sang, because that was pretty bad.
You know what it's called? It's called Beauty. It's called Beauty.
Well, we don't have to sing it again. We can keep that one for later.
You can hear that for Saturday.
Yeah.
To each their own, I guess. I wish I could pick Oklahoma State, and I feel gross almost picking Kansas. Yes, can y'all stop? I feel guilty picking Kansas in Kansas's territory, but given the status of Oklahoma State football, I can't give them the win, and for the sake of my picks, my record.
Picks. I get it. That's fair. We did in Arizona, and I'm going Kansas too. I do think there's going to be some positives for Oklahoma State that we haven't seen in a while. Listen, they held Texas Tech to 88 yards on the ground rushing. The front seven is getting a lot better. They're learning with this interim defensive coordinator and Clint Bowen. And if Zane Flores is back, we're going to hopefully see a more natural and kind of back to the basics complete offense with a natural quarterback. So I think there'll be a lot to build on for OSU with how bad it was last week, but obviously nothing to build on like a win at all. So definitely going KU, but for my Oklahoma State heart, hopefully some positives to build on. But guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome.
To Kansas's journalism program for having us here, and it was just a great time.
Yeah, thank y'all for joining us, and that's all the time we have for y'all. Go Pokes.
Rock chalk, baby.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Thanks, guys. That was so good.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Good stuff.